like a bird in the sky. The legend of the electric scooter guy. No gas, no fumes, just a hum in the air. A helmet on crooked, like he doesn't care. With a backpack full of snacks and a gleam in his eye. He's the hero we need, the electric scooter guy.
Gear up, scooter fam. Today we're going to take a look at the Inmotion V11Y electric unicycle, aka EUC. I've not done an EUC video before. I've done a couple of e-bike videos, obviously a lot of scooter videos. I'm trying to branch out into different types of PEVs, personal electric vehicles, and this one really caught my eye. It's the V11Y from Inmotion. Right now it's going for about $1,600. You know, it's not the entry level Inmotion unicycle, and it's not the flagship unicycle, but it's a decent sort of middle of the road, right in the middle, pretty much. So yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. It's got full suspension. It's an 18-inch wheel. It goes like 37 miles an hour, top speed, and it's supposed to get 75 miles of range. It has an 85 millimeter suspension travel, which is 3 to 4 inches, I think, somewhere in there. Pretty nice. For technical specs, once again, top speed is 37 miles an hour, close to 75 miles of range. Perfect conditions, I'm sure. Battery is a 20S 4-piece Samsung 21750E. So sounds like a pretty good battery. I think it's 84 volt battery. Maybe it says that somewhere, but it's an 84 volt battery. And they use 21700 Samsung cells. Rated power is 2500 watts. Max power is 7000 watts. It weighs about 66 pounds, and the charger is 84 volt 2.5 amp hour. Tire is 18 by 3 inches. Charge time is 8 hours or 2 hours with two 10 amp chargers. Battery capacity is 1500 watt hours. Once again, max power is 7000 watts. Suspension 85 millimeters of travel. It has headlights, brake lights. Hill climb angle is 40 degree. And the max load is 265 pounds. Max torque 100 newton meters. And it's IP rating of IPX6. So, pretty nice overall, I'd say. I don't know a ton about electric unicycles. I probably know the least of all about them compared to electric scooters and e-bikes. I probably know the most about electric scooters. It's just a majority of what I've been paying attention to. It's a majority of my channel, obviously Electric Scooter Guy, which is going to remain Electric Scooter Guy in case anyone had any ideas. I'm just covering different things and eventually branching out into different types of PEVs, not just electric scooters. Although electric scooters will probably always remain the largest part of my content and the largest part of my PEV collection, I'm sure. But that's the Inmotion V11Y electric unicycle. Pretty nice unicycle. I think it's probably a pretty good deal right now, as well at $1,600. So I did want to compare to a few other unicycles that are kind of in the same range and compare comparatively well. We'll talk about those real quick. The first one is the Kingsong S16 Pro at $1,799, $1,800. I kind of I don't like the handle as much on this one. I know Kingsong is a popular EUC. Here's a spec sheet on it. It goes 38 miles an hour, 75 miles of range as well, 300 pounds max load. Maximum grade is 48 degrees. Rated power is 3000 watts. Charger is an 84 volts, 5 amp hour. Charging time is about 4 or 5 hours. Samsung 50S battery cells. 16 by 3 inch tire. It weighs 72 pounds. It's got a max power of 5,000 watts. auto adjusting headlight, turn signals, power pads, kickstands. Pedal type has spiked, and a safety warning, and alarm and automatic braking. That's kind of interesting. Protective measure, side low, speed limit, low battery, high temperature pickup, the shutdown. Okay. And it says headlight, stoplight, integrated trolley. Okay. Next is the Big Old Falcon at $1,649 for the 50S version. It does have a 100-volt battery. The motor is 1,500 watts, 900 watt hours. Weighs 26 grams, which is, I want to say, around 55 pounds, if I remember correctly. Somewhere in there. Chargers a 3 amp charger. 5 amp with the 50S version. Tire is 16 inches. It's a tubeless tire. IP67 waterproofing. Spiked pedals. That is the Big Old Falcon at $1,649. This is a pre-order, but also gets a lot of attention when doing my research on EUCs. Next up is the NOSFET Aero electric unicycle. It's going for $1,879.99 right now. It's also a pre-order. I've been hearing quite a lot about this EUC. A lot of buzz going around about it right now. Specs are a 2,000 watt motor, 126 volt battery, 1,100 watt hours, Samsung 50S cells. It says a real world riding speed at 34 plus, a free spin speed of 48 miles per hour. Tire size looks like it's about 16 and a half inches. Suspension tire has a fork style suspension, 70 millimeters of travel, has a trolley handle, .20 watt headlight, automatic daylight sensing headlight, so it's automatic activation, daytime running lights as well. 10 amp charger looks like. Oh, they have one. You can charge it up to 10 amps. They have an included charger at 5 amps rather. Smart BMS, iProof water rating is also IPX6. Weighs about 54 pounds. And has a kill lift button. That is the NOSFET Aero electric unicycle. So those are the three comparisons. I'm not doing really a comparison like grading them out or anything like that. Just wanted to talk about the Inmotion V11Y and some of the things about it, and then of course just have a few similar EUCs to compare to. Alright guys, let's take a look at some footage real quick from a ride that I did recently on the Apollo City, and I want to talk about the brakes and the throttle. You can see here that I have the throttle and the brake closer to the hand grips here, and then I have the drum brakes here on the inside of the throttle and regen brake. So this is pretty much how I ride. I mean, most of the time, like, you know, I have the throttle here, I got the regen brake here. I keep my thumbs kind of going back and forth as I need. Right now, obviously, I'm giving throttle and going like 20 something miles an hour there. But yeah, this worked out really well. I can move my hands to a more natural place on the handle grips, as you can see, like out in the middle, instead of like on the inside, having to be able to only use the inside of the hand grips. I'm able to place my hands in the middle of the hand grips where they should be. And I also have my tire pressure monitor right here that I ride with all the time. It's really a good, personally a good peace of mind, because I never have to worry about do I check the tire pressure before I leave. I have to do it on all my other scooters, and it's just nice on the city and the Go if I used it. But the city I use as my right now my main commuter scooter. It's nice to have that tire pressure monitor, because I can just look at it and then go out the door if I don't need to do anything. If I do, I add some real quick, but it's better than having to take it off and check to see if I need to put something in there. I can just look. And so I really like that a lot. And it's great because, like I said, it's my main scooter that I'm using right now for my daily rides. And so I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, really like the levers where they are. Get great leverage when you're pulling them. Come to a stop much easier with just 2 fingers. With that placement, because they're to the inside, and so it's your grip, my grip, goes right to the ends of the levers, which is perfect. My 2 fingers just take the ends of the levers, and I can come to a fairly easy stop comparatively than what it was before. I was having to use at least 3 fingers and I still wasn't able to get the kind of stopping power that I'm able to get now with just 2 fingers on the outside. So it's an improvement across the board. Feels better, works better, looks better, all the way around. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick while I was thinking about it as we're going on our first little trip here. So. We're going to be doing a tour of the campus today, OU, and so I thought I would do this for some footage and do it one of these times and talk about the Apollo City. What I think about it so far. I'm over 100 miles now on it, and it's going to keep going. I mean, it's my first scooter I grabbed when I ran out the door, for a good reason. For a good reason. It does everything I needed to do. Does it very well, and it doesn't do too much. And I'm not saying anything's too much. I love my Klima. I say that again and again and again, and I'll take it all the time, just for fun, and I'll continue to ride it. The Apollo Go will be more of a backup. It may not get ridden very often at all, unless someone comes to visit, and it'll be a good scooter to give when I go to Dallas. In November, I'll be taking the Apollo Go as well. So for stuff like that, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's easy to throw in the car, and if I get to ride it a little bit or let someone else ride it, one of my family or friends, while I'm there and get to test it out, that'll be fun. So like I said, I'm gonna go to OU and ride around campus today. Just kind of, like I say, it's kind of a fun little ride for footage and for me. It's nice. Just a nice little ride to go on. No errands today. Just out having a good time. It's a nice day, and just wanted to go do something fun, ride around on a scooter. So yeah. Once again, the Apollo City, the dogs always like to come say hello when I come by here. The Apollo City is just, like I said, kind of the perfect scooter to go do your daily stuff on. For me it is, and goes 30 miles an hour, like easy. It's the easiest scooter I've ever went. I've only been 30 miles an hour on 2 scooters, which is the Apollo City and the Klima, and I've done it more on the Klima now, and I think I'm getting used to going that fast more and more, but yeah, it's pretty much, that's what I'm, pretty much doing. So yeah, I just hit 400 miles on the Klima. I know you guys might have saw that video. And I'm over 100 on this one. I've only got 100 and something on the Go, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But like I said, it's probably going to sit there. It's not going to get a lot of use unless I have some special use for it, or need it for some other reason. I told my wife she could ride it, but she broke her hand, and I don't know when she's gonna even be able to ride it. She did ride my Hover One Journey Max a bit when I had it, or had them, but we never went on a ride together. I didn't have 2 helmets, so now I have 2 helmets and better scooters and everything. But she still can't go with me. So she knows how to ride a little bit. Like I said, she rode the Journey Max, but never really went anywhere. I'm the only one that really uses the scooters to do anything with. And I run errands and go on little excursions and trips and so forth. mostly errands. And so, yeah, that's like I said, it's a really nice day today, as you could tell, outside. Just a fun day to go out and go riding. So let's talk about, you know, why I might have done a video on EUCs. Well, I love electric scooters. When I first got into electric scooters, I was considering getting an e-bike. First, I've been wanting to get an e-bike for a long time at this point, and so at first I was going to build my own e-bike several years ago, maybe like 10 years ago or so. I'll say like 8 to 10 years ago. I was considering building me an e-bike. There wasn't really a lot out there. There was a little stuff here and there. The stuff that was decent was way too expensive, and now you can actually get some decent e-bikes for reasonable prices, and they've come a long way. E-bikes are way better now than they were 8 to 10 years ago, by a mile. And so, that matters. And in any case, I no longer really have thought about. I've thought about it, but I find that there are a lot better bikes out there that are well made, that I could probably live with. That I probably would prefer better than building my own. Not that building my own still wouldn't be fun, but at this point, I think there's a lot of good options out there to sway me from building my own. In any case, I also, like I said, was trying to decide between electric scooters and e-bikes. And one of the reasons that I chose electric scooters is because it was a bit more of a challenge. It's a bit more of a challenge. If I get an e-bike, it's not really much of a challenge to it. I can ride an e-bike. I've never ridden an e-bike, but I feel pretty good about my odds, and I'm just really comfortable on a bike, and so I have no really hesitation about getting an e-bike. It probably, most people say it's probably the most boring of the two. And so that's kind of why I wanted an electric scooter, and why I eventually went to electric scooter. Of course, my neighbor let me borrow his for just a quick moment, but I really wanted to, that solidified it for me. I was like, I've been considering it, and so of course I bought the Journey Max, my first scooter, and then I started actually doing things, and that's when I realized that it was a real form of transportation, not just something to go have fun with on the weekends with your friends or ride downtown and stuff. That's how I kind of saw it. Not as like I can actually get things done, and it's a real form of transportation, and I can take several miles at a time on a charge and do errands and stuff on. When I figured that out, it was really going to become a major part of transportation. It was a lot more interesting to me, and so I've grown to love electric scooters. It's probably my number one passion right now, and of course, why my channel is named Electric Scooter Guy. But I've also been interested in other PEVs as well. Anything you can pretty much call a PEV, I've gotten, I've at least looked at before, So unless I missed something, there may be something out there that I've missed, I'm sure. But in general, like most of the PEV, electric skateboards, one wheel, unicycles, e-bikes, electric scooters. What else am I missing? Whatever you can consider an electric vehicle, personal electric vehicle. I've probably at least checked out at some point. And so there's an interest. I've considered, and I considered building my own like electric longboard several years ago. I thought those were pretty cool. That's kind of died down, but you still see some a little bit here and there, and people still kind of build their own, but they're kind of like way crazier than what it used to be. It used to be had like the boosted boards. I think they just went out of business or something. But that's when I started kind of paying attention to them, and once again that's kind of died down, maybe taken over from some of the stuff like scooters and whatnot. The one wheel I've also been following for a while, and interestingly enough, my neighbor has a one wheel, and I saw him and he let me kind of test it out for a minute. So I didn't want to do too much on it. I wasn't really prepared to do a lot with it. I just wanted to check it out, and he let me check it out. So I don't know, maybe I'll do a video. If he'll let me do a video on his one wheel, that'll be cool. So but yeah, I got to jump on it for just a brief second, and I rode skateboards too. Nothing crazy, but I'm comfortable standing on a skateboard. Just put it that way. I'm not gonna fall off, and so I mean this is not a skateboard, and I know that, but I'm just saying if I were to get on a skateboard, there would be no issues. Here we are at OU, coming to the campus. It's a huge campus, really nice campus, and parts of it are kind of old, older buildings and so forth, but pretty nice. So we're gonna go on a ride through OU campus today. So we so yeah, I have interest in all electric PEVs of all kinds, and if you guys know something I might have missed, let me know in the comments. Maybe I've heard of it, maybe I just forgot to mention it, but I know they have like electric skates. Yeah, I don't really consider those a real thing, but that's what I've seen. If there's something I missed, once again, I'm happy to be proven wrong on anything. I'm not perfect, I'm pretty thorough in my research, but it doesn't mean I'm 100% accurate. And if I miss something, please let me know. I don't take offense to it at all. If I get something wrong, if I mix something up, say, hey, you mixed something up, and I'll be like, yep, you're probably right. I do that from time to time, and I'll try to make sure I correct it. But I'm not intentionally putting out bad information, but I'm human, and I don't apologize for that. In any case, like I said, driving around OU, and he not only has a one wheel, but he's got a couple of electric longboards. So once again, he may let me test some of those things out, and I'll test them out in the future, and get a little footage testing those things out. But I chose to do a video on the Inmotion V11Y because I was considering getting another PEV, purchasing another PEV, and I was considering getting another scooter. I was considering getting another, or getting an e-bike rather, and I also at the time was considering a PEV, yeah, an EUC, electric unicycle. Probably the one that I've been avoiding the most, not avoiding, but less likely to try. There's a big learning curve. It's not easy to learn. It's nothing like a scooter, just jumping on a scooter. Obviously nothing like an e-bike. If you already know how to ride a bike, that's pretty simple stuff. And so riding an electric unicycle is a task to learn. You gotta learn it. And like I said, not everyone can do it. Not everyone wants to do it. They try, but they give up and get frustrated or whatever. So it's there's something to it. It's not a simple thing, and it's risky. It's pretty risky. the fact that there is such a steep learning curve, and it does seem to be a bit dangerous. Uh, you know, it's a scary thing to jump into. Once again, you're taking all the risk, you're doing all the risk, and but there's it's probably the people that have experience riding EUCs. They say it's the coolest of all. There's their favorite. You know, and so that's a reason that I really was considering getting it, is just because it's so fun, from what I hear, and people seem to like it the best. Now, I'm not trying to change my channel to the EUC guy channel or something like that, but I do want to do other things. I do want to look at other products, e-bikes, EUCs, maybe electric skateboards. Those are not. I mean, like I said, they kind of taken a dip in recent years, so I don't know if that would be worth any time. The one wheel also, I don't think it's really big news anymore. They used to be cool when they first come out. They still have a cool factor to them. My neighbor has one, and I thought his was pretty cool, but they really don't have a not a lot of hype. Not a lot of hype around one wheels. They seem to be very expensive for what they can do, which is not a lot compared to like other PEVs. So you spend a lot. You can spend your money go a lot further getting an e-bike or a scooter versus electric unicycle. Like I said, some of the electric longboards, electric skateboards are pretty cool, and then there's customized ones which can absolutely fly, which is interesting. But yeah, just some things that I've thought about and looked into before, and you never know. I've always been kind of interested in these types of vehicles, and then since I've gotten into scooters, it's really made me curious to get into some of the others as well. And I did decide to go ahead and purchase an Inmotion V11Y. So I did buy an Inmotion V11Y a few days ago or so, about 5 days ago. And I've made a couple videos trying to talk about it, but I've had audio issues. And hopefully audio issues don't hold me back here, but I think I know what the problem was. But I made a couple of different videos now, went through the whole time of sitting here for an hour and so forth, making them, and then I go into editing, and the sound, I can hear it, but it doesn't transfer over, and I can't use it and export it. So it's wasting a lot of my time, several hours trying to make these videos with the footage, and then do this commentary as well, and then spend hours editing as well. So I apologize. I'm trying to put these together for you guys. I'm a little late on this one because I'm having audio issues. So hopefully I'll get this one out. This is the third one that I've made now, and I cross my fingers the audio works on this one. So I think I got it nailed down, but we'll see. In any case, I did buy an EUC 5 days ago, or I got it 5 days ago, and so I've been practicing riding the Inmotion V11Y for 5 days now, and I'm pretty excited about it. Here's a Challenger wide body. I can't tell if it's I don't see a Scat Pack badge. It's definitely a wide body. It could be an RT wide body kit, but it didn't appear to be. It looked like it was maybe a Scat Pack or even SRT or something, but I can't tell from where I was. In any case, yeah. So why I chose the V11Y, or why I chose to get an EUC. So let's talk about that for a second. Once again, I've always been interested in all kinds of PEVs. I'm going to probably try a lot different more, and if they come out with something next year if Melvin comes out with his electric chair. That doesn't sound too good there. I may try it. I hope he doesn't call it the electric chair. But if he comes out with something like that, I'll be happy to test it. If you want to send it to me, Melvin, for review, I'll be happy to review it. Or if you want to take it to Dallas to the Electrify Expo, I'll be happy to test it there as well. But yeah, you know, I really enjoy all different kinds of PEVs, and so this one was another one that I was really curious about. I really wasn't thinking about getting one. I was still kind of hesitant to go there, but then I started thinking about it, and I thought, if I am going to learn to ride one, I think now is the time. It's summer. It's nice. It's perfect weather for me to get out and try to learn to ride an EUC. And also, once again, I do have the Dallas show that I very much plan on going to. I'm going to try to go both days. It's the 15th and the 16th of November. If anybody's going to be there, I will be. Hit me up on my email, whatever. Maybe we can try to cross paths somewhere at some point, or at least find each other in the expo and say hello. So, you know, please do so. We are, you know, and so I thought, well, that's, you know, I have enough time by November to hopefully learn how to ride an EUC. So just about anything else there, I'd be willing to try. The electric skateboard, I'll try it. The one wheel, I tried it the other day. It's not that bad if one wheel shows up. E-bikes, now I'm pretty comfortable with electric scooters. I'll be happy to try any electric scooter out there. And so, you know, my level of comfortability with these things are pretty good, except electric unicycles. And I just, you know, not comfortable with them. And so I want to try to get comfortable with the electric unicycles so that I can test them out and during the expo and get some more content and so forth, but also, you know, for my own experience as well. So yeah, I want to be able to do that. You know, me now being sort of a, you know, PEV influencer, what have you, YouTuber, and I do this, you know, quite regularly. I want to be able to bring all different kinds of content, and you know, that was one that it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. Of course, I like challenges, and it doesn't bother me. This one is one, you know, I have to say, I was thinking about this the other day. I love YouTube, and obviously, and you know, there's no way I would have went and got an EUC if YouTube wasn't around. Like, if I couldn't watch dozens of videos on experiences, people's opinions, some pointers, tips, how to approach it, so forth like that, there's no way I would have been brave enough to just go get an electric unicycle and try to figure it out, you know. So, and that just makes all the difference in the world. You know, having somewhere to go like this when people can share their information and like I said, tips and tricks, and you know, don't give up. You know, this is how long it took me, and so forth and so on. And I know people still give up and whatnot, but it's just nice to hear other people have gone through this. Gives you some confidence to go out there and try it, and then they'll encourage you. Look, you know, it just takes time. You just got to keep getting out there, so forth and so on. And so yeah, that's why I decided to get an EUC is because I figured it was a great timing. I can learn it by the time that I get to the expo in November, and I can try out other EUCs, which will be great. So that's my goal. I'm learning to comfortably ride an EUC by November 16th. You know, that gives me, you know, about 4 months or so to figure that out. So hopefully I can get to that point. Why I chose the Inmotion V11Y. First of all, I'm familiar with Inmotion, and I know, I'm familiar with all the things. I know that they have some questionable customer service, parts availability, some of those things like that, some quality control types of issues. But they also put out really good products, and they do a really good job on EUCs as well. And so, although they have their issues, there's no question about it. They do put out good products. They do put out quality scooters and quality EUCs. So I don't doubt that, and I'm willing to take a chance. They like I said, they really do a good job. And so I wanted to try it out. I did a little bit of research, and I thought it was a great deal for what it is. Now I knew I wanted an electrocutor unicycle with suspension. So that's one of the factors that made me want to choose the V11Y as well, is because it does have suspension versus some of the other more entry level EUCs do not. And so I that was certainly a factor. Second thing is and that's just because of my experience with scooters. And so, I got the Hover One Journey Max, which had no suspension. Great performance as far as acceleration, top speed, and even range was not bad. But it had no suspension. Every crack, every bump you hit, felt like it was going to knock your hands off the handlebars. And you get used to it, and it didn't actually knock my hands off the handlebars. So no issues there, but it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't enjoyable to ride a lot of the time during that time. In general, it was enjoyable to ride, or I wouldn't have ridden it, but those types of issues were not enjoyable. And I would be dishonest if I said otherwise. I didn't enjoy almost getting my hands knocked off the handlebars. I didn't enjoy the jarring, the way it jars you. I didn't enjoy that. And so I knew if I got an EUC, I'd want it to have suspension. And then my experience on my trips on the roads that I take, such as this road that I'm on right now, it's 25 miles an hour. I wanted to get a scooter that could go at least 30 miles an hour because on the 25 mile an hour roads, the ones that are not residential roads, cars will usually get up to 25, 30 miles an hour there. Now on the residential roads, I don't worry too much about going 20 miles an hour on those because people shouldn't be going too fast on those roads anyway. But these other ones that are more like just smaller roads, not residential, but they're still like 25 miles an hour. Those are the roads that I get up to around 30 on when I'm riding on, just to stay up with traffic. Most traffic travels between 25, 30 miles an hour on those roads. So if I can go at least 30, I can keep up with traffic, and I feel pretty comfortable riding around. So eventually I'm going to want to do the type of trips that I do on my scooter on my EUC. And so I'm going to want the same type of performance for my EUC. So those are some minimums that I had to get. I had to get suspension because I knew I would eventually want suspension. And then I had to get something that could go at least 30 miles an hour, which the V11Y will go 37. And that's it. I wanted to go 30 miles an hour and have suspension. And obviously a reputable brand, someone I could feel like was getting a decent an EUC from. And there are some others as well. And, like I said, maybe I'll get to try some out at the Electrify Expo. Maybe Inmotion will be there, and they'll have some other scooters, EUCs too. I'd like to try the RS. I'd like to try, a lot of these things like this. So, for sure, that's a big deciding factor for why I got the V11Y. So, let me talk about my experience so far. I'll catch you guys up. It's been a little bit more each time I make a video, so I have more to talk about. But I watched tons of videos on how to ride an EUC, and I'll give you guys my update on where I'm at. It's been 5 days total. So I watched lots of videos, got lots of ideas on how to start riding EUC and how to approach it, some of the things you're going to have to deal with, and so forth, and get used to, and so things like that. And so the way I started out was day one. I got my EUC, and I'll try to put a picture of it up here. My specific EUC, and so I got it the first day, and I took it out on the grass and beside my house, and I just practiced getting up, standing on it. I did a little bit in the hallway, but just to kind of get a feel real quick. I didn't spend any real time doing that, but I went out in my yard and I just practiced getting on and getting off, getting on, getting off, and a little bit of riding around in this little telephone pole with grass around it, a light pole or what have you, in my yard, on the edge, around, to try to get a feel for it as well. But most of my time was spent just learning to get off and on, off and on. That's the most important thing, in my opinion, to spend time on right off the bat. Learn to get on and off. I don't know why I see so many videos and so forth. They don't talk about that until like later on. I'm like, if you learn to get on and off the EUC from the first moment that you get it, it kind of comes in handy. I'm just gonna be honest. So practice getting on and off. Now, the way you do it, I mean, there's tons of videos on this, but here's what I'll give you my advice on. And once I get good at it myself, maybe I'll do a instructional type video, give you my personal perspectives, but I'll share that with sort of my experience as I go along as well. So here's what I found. It's fine for practice. You want to put your foot on your dominant foot, and you want to tilt it over, right? So, and it's heavy, well, especially the one I got. It's 65 pounds, I think, is what it said over there, and so it's over 60 pounds, and it's heavy. And so, trying to hold this thing up with one leg while you get on is not the simplest thing in the world to do if you've never done it before. And so, on the videos, they make it look really easy. Oh yeah, you just push really hard and you step on up. And until you really get a feel for that, and your leg's gonna want to buckle. You don't realize how heavy that is, and you don't realize how much pressure that's gonna take to be able to step up on it. And when you're learning it, once again, you're doing it kind of slow, and so it takes a lot of pressure. And so, but it's good. It teaches you what you need to know. So you're gonna want to practice that. In my opinion, first thing, right off the bat, go out in your yard and just practice stepping up, stepping off, slowly as you can. Just step up, step off, step up, step off. You don't want to jump. You want to use your dominant leg, put it up there, and then slowly step up with the right one. I mean, as slow as you can. And then a little bit at a time. Not hop, don't jump. Just slowly lift your foot up, and keep slowly lifting your foot until you're pretty solid at it. And so you'll be pushing in that dominant leg the whole time, and the whole time you're holding that EUC steady, you'll be lifting up the other leg, and that's what it's going to take for you to get good at stepping on and off the EUC. So that's in my mind, you should be spending your first majority of practice, your first day on that. And that's what I spent most of my first day on. Besides that, just kind of, I did try to move forward a little bit in my yard. It was pretty tough to do. I didn't make it very far, but it gave me plenty of on-off experience. And I fell only once. Wasn't a big deal. I didn't wear any gear. I feel like I don't have to wear gear when I'm practicing in the grass. I only fell one time. I dropped the EUC lots of times. But I only fell once, and I was trying to bail off the EUC, and I just lost my balance. It was not a big deal. I landed on my butt. Not the end of the world. Even not on grass, that would not have been a big deal at all. But I fell that once. All the other times, I haven't fell again at all. I bailed off the EUC plenty of times. Dropped the EUC. Caught the EUC. I've had my ups and downs with the EUC, but I've only left my feet one time. And no big deal whatsoever. So that's my personal experience. Like I said, I've been practicing for 5 days now. Second day, what I did, and this to me is like, once you learn how to get off and on, spend your first session, like I said, maybe the first day. You don't have to practice all day getting on and off. I did it for a while, and I went out and did it again. Two short little practice sessions, and just getting off and on, off and on. And like I said, I tried to move forward a little bit, but it really wasn't happening. So this now on day two. Day two is I call like the super hack. It's like a super hack, and I'll explain it. Instead of having a trying to get going on grass or trying to get on pavement, everyone says it's easier to learn on pavement, and to some degree, I assume that could be true. It's easier to ride on pavement, that's for sure. But anyway, I went to grass. I went and found a grassy, declined spot, not a hill, just a slight decline, a grassy area near the school where I go practice on my scooters. And I found a slight decline, as big as you can get. This one wasn't too big, but big enough of a stretch to where I could practice. And so you want to get at the top of the decline. And the reason that you're going to do this on the grass is because with the decline is because, first of all, once again, you don't have to wear gear. Anytime you can practice without gear is great. It's kind of like doing the flips on motorcycles into the foam. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. It's not really foam, but anyway, you get to be a lot more free and feel a lot more confident out there, doing what you're doing in grass, because worst you could do is fall in the grass. So, that's what I did, and I go down and get at the top of the hill, and then what you're gonna, and this doesn't take very long at all. You're gonna jump on and ride it just a few feet and then jump off. Right? Jump on, ride a few feet, and jump off. And you're not having to focus on moving forward because the hill is going to take you slightly down the decline. It's going to get you rolling on your. You don't have to do anything. It's going to roll when you step up on it. So all you're focusing on is stepping up on the EUC, and then letting it roll for a few feet, and then hopping off. So you're kind of learning to bail safely. Is what you're doing. It doesn't take too long, but as soon as you kind of get that down, you're like, okay, you can safely hop off of the EUC. Then I'm going to graduate to the next drill, and the next drill is where the hack really takes place. This hack is super hack, and it's not kidding, super hack. And so once I did that, I went over and I kept trying different things, and I kept trying to find a good spot to practice on, to try to get it to where I could stay up longer. I wasn't able to stay up longer, and I've watched lots of videos, right? And people say, well, when you start to fall left, you want to turn left, and when you start to fall right, you want to turn right. And so you try to think about that stuff, but here's the truth is that. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to think about this. I was trying to stay up. And I was trying to think about turning. It just really wasn't all coming together for me. And so I thought about it a bit. And I know, I've seen people do it and twist, do this twist and to sort of try to turn and keep your balance and so forth. So I started twisting, whether or not I needed to or not, right? I instead of trying to overthink it, and be like, should I be twisting to the left or should I be twisting to the right? On that split moment, it's a lot to take in. So when you're trying to learn, it's a lot to consider. And maybe these people that are saying this, like, it comes easy to them because they do it a lot or whatever, and that's how they think about it. And sure, that is what you want to do. When you're trying to learn, it's just a lot to focus on and get right in a split second time. So here's what I did. I just got on and started twisting right and left just to try to get used to it, right? And then I'll let my brain figure out how to best stay up as I try to move forward, because I'm on a decline. So I'm moving forward. I hop on, step on with control, and another thing is I will recommend. So when you're stepping on, when you're outside on your yard, you can do it however you want to do it because you're just kind of on off. Once you get on the decline, you start stepping on. What I found to be help a lot is to step from behind the EUC. So as opposed to bringing it up, which you may practice in your yard, kind of side to side and see some videos on, coming over the pedal and stepping on the pedal from the side. When I started getting on the decline, and what I found to help me quite a bit is to push off a little bit, like you do on a scooter or something like that. Push off and then step up. Push off and then step up with control. And so I'm doing it from behind. For me, my right foot, my dominant leg is on the EUC, and I push off with my left a little bit, and I step up. And if you can start getting good at that, a lot of things are going to start coming a lot better for you. So that's one thing. That was a tip that I can offer. Is that really made things part of that really easier and made it kind of come together for me quite a bit. I had already practiced on getting on and off, and I knew how to control the electric unicycle when I was getting on and off. But stepping up from behind and kind of giving it a little push was perfect. It was so perfect. Even though you're going on the decline, just getting that little push off and stepping up felt so different. And so that's how I do it from now on, from that point on. But then I start twisting. I start twisting, trying to keep my balance. But I don't wait until I trying to figure out which way to, turn because I'm falling that direction. So I start twisting and trying to stay up. Twist more over here, but I start getting it going before anything really starts to happen. So, and then of course I'm trying to stay up. And so I do that the rest of the day, and I have a little bit of success. Doing that. And so that felt pretty good. And so day 3, I spent my whole day doing that. Not the whole day, my whole practice session that day doing that. Going and twisting. I got pretty far. The whole stretch that I could go a few times. So I was starting to do it repetitively without falling until the end. And of course I bailed. And then once I got to the end, and did that a few times, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. So yesterday, I went. I was going to go one more time. I just wanted to make sure that I had it down, so forth. I probably spent an extra day on this that I didn't necessarily need to, but I'm not in a rush, not in a hurry. I know some people say I can learn in 45 minutes, but I don't. I wasn't in that kind of a rush. So I got 4 months. But I started going once again, this third day going back. And the third day was much like the second day. It wasn't, I wasn't like hitting it on every stride. I'm not going to pretend. But I was hitting all the time. I was doing it regularly. I was able to do it fairly regularly, jump on and make it down, So it didn't take me too many tries to do it. And so I was like, okay, I think I've gotten everything that I want to get out of this on the grass. So the idea was to try to learn how to balance on the grass, right, and on a downhill slope. And that's the super hack. It really is. And then today I decided to go out onto the pavement. A big parking lot out there also. Not the one that I usually practice my scooters on, but a big one. I don't know if they had it open or not, but in any case, I went over there, and it's a really large parking lot, and I decided to try my newly attained balancing skills that I learned over in the grass on pavement. I didn't use any wall. I considered it. They have a fence there. I didn't really want to do that. I thought, I've been working over there on the grass, and I want to see how that translates over here. And it's amazing. It wasn't even difficult. It wasn't even. I had I had done the hardest part over in the grass over those few days, and so by the time I got onto the pavement, it made it so easy on me. It's like training wheels, taking off training wheels. I never used training wheels, but I've seen people take training wheels, and so just going and having this early success, being able to get on and being able to balance without on learning on grass and then transferring that over to pavement, and I was able to balance honestly right off the bat, right from the very beginning. I was able to balance, and so that was, like I said, that was the super hack. Now, did that mean I was able to go and run around on the in the parking lot with no issues? No. That's silly. I'm gonna pause this real quick. And so, that of course not. Of course not. I didn't go over there and just take off and I'm rolling all around. But I was able to maintain my my balance. I still dropped the EUC a couple times. I still had to bail a few times, but I was able to maintain balance, and so much so that was this morning. So much so where I was gaining speed that I didn't really want to gain. And I was because I was staying up so long, naturally gaining speed. I got a little nervous and I would bail. I bail when I get up because I'm like I don't want to bail when I get up going too fast. And I'm trying to look forward and so forth to keep my focus on moving forward and whatnot. And so I was able to do that, but once again, I had to kind of dial that back down a bit, because I was able to stay balanced, but I just unlike the pavement, the grass, I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to slow down. The grass slowed me down and stopped me, pretty easily. If I all I had to do was even when I'm trying to stay up, it's going to stop me. So I didn't really learn how to slow down or stop very well in the grass. And so getting going wasn't too big of a deal, and balancing wasn't a big deal at all. So that was, like I said, if you could do that on the grass, you could learn on the grass and make all your mistakes on the grass, and then get over there. You're still gonna make a little mistakes, but nothing like that. I mean, it was so easy. And once again, stepping up on, pushing off, stepping up, pushing off, stepping up. That's a key. And then I went again this afternoon for a follow-up training session, because I was pretty excited about that pavement thing. I did not expect. I was so nervous, and it's so nerve-wracking out there. I'm trying to learn and everything, and it's a bit scary. But having that kind of success, I was ready to go back out and see how I could do. This time I had in mind that I've got to focus on slowing down and stopping controllably. Not bailing, but stopping and trying to step off the EUC. I didn't have that quite down just yet either. So I focused that on that during the first part of my training, and kind of built up to where I could go move around a little bit. And by the time I was done with my second training, I was crossing the parking lot, the entire parking lot, which is huge, with controlled stops, speeding up, slowing down, everything, in just my first day on pavement. After spending all that time in the grass, I'm able to get that progress that far on the first day of pavement, 2 sessions. And the only thing that I'm not comfortable with, I mean, it's not perfect, right? I'm barely learning, but the fact is that I'm able to do that at all. My first day on the pavement is pretty, like I said, that's why I consider that a super hack, because I conditioned myself, I trained myself on the grass where it was much more difficult, and I got on the pavement and I was good to go. And so that's a really encouraging, and so super pumped about that. And then like I said, of course, being able to cross the entire parking lot, come to a stop, I was even able, I practice, speeding up, slowing down, so forth. But the one thing I haven't really gotten a good handle on is turning. So I can try to I can keep a balance pretty good when I'm going. And then of course, the faster you get going, the less you have to do that. But that control is getting, but as far as turning, a couple times I was trying to go in a certain direction and I end up just having to bail, because it was the EUC was going down when I tried to turn. So it's things I got to work on. Do some drills, go watch some videos and try some other drills out and work on that tomorrow. And I'll update you guys as well. So sorry about it's taking me a little while to do this video. Hopefully this one, the audio doesn't mess up on, and I don't have to make another video, because by the time I end up making a video where the audio works, I'm already going to be at the Dallas Electronic Expo testing out EUCs. Guys, if you enjoyed this content and you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And happy riding.
He's got wheels and a dream on the fly. Zooms past the world, electric and spry. Through the city he weaves like a bird in the sky. The legend of the electric scooter guy. No fumes, just a hum in the air. A helmet on crooked, like he doesn't care. With a backpack full of snacks and a gleam in his eye. He's the hero we need, the electric scooter guy. Oh, scooter guy, you're flying so high. Dodging traffic as you glide by. Street lights flicker as you electrify. You're the one and only electric scooter guy. Potholes can't stop him, he jumps with flair. Wind in his face, like he just doesn't care. Charging his ride while sipping a chai. The unstoppable electric scooter guy. Ah, yeah. Late night rides under neon glow. His battery's low, but he still won't go. He's a rebel on wheels, no need to comply. Forever rolling, the electric scooter guy. Oh, scooter guy, you're flying so high. Dodging the traffic as you glide by. Street lights flicker as you electrify. You're the one and only electric scooter guy. Oh, scooter guy, you're flying so high. Dodging the traffic as you glide by. Street lights flicker as you electrify. You're the one and only electric scooter guy. Electric scooter guy. Electric scooter guy.